Bitcoin is knocking on the door of 50,000 after pumping massively on Friday and consolidating over the weekend. Edward Snowden says that the China ban has made Bitcoin stronger, and you know that I agree. I have a ton of news and quite a few charts for you guys today. You do not want to miss this. Let us go.
Let's go.
What is up, everybody? I'm Scott Melker, also known as the Wolf of All Streets. Before we get started, please subscribe to the channel and go ahead and gently massage the like button with both thumbs. You have to get them really close together if you're going to hit the like button with both thumbs, but I'm confident that you guys can do it. I want you to massage that. I have a bit of a different setup today, so you'll see me when now I'm looking right and left instead of straight ahead when I look at the charts, but I'm trying to get my game up, get my stuff together over here. I hope that all of you had a great weekend. I know that the markets obviously had a great weekend, and a lot of the coins and setups that we were looking at did perform well. We're looking at that certain pattern. I discussed it Friday morning if you guys were watching, where we have a very clear resistance descending on coins. We're seeing breakouts left and right. Just find the one that's next to breakout and go for that if you are trading it. But first, I want to dive into what's happening with Bitcoin right now. Quite a bit and quite some interesting news. But first, I want to talk about what we just talked about in the introduction, and that is Edward Snowden, who said Bitcoin is stronger after China's crypto ban. Former NSA contractor and infamous whistleblower Edward Snowden believes China's latest ban has strengthened the leading cryptocurrency. You know that I agree, but I'm curious if you guys agree with that as well. Do you think that this ban is making Bitcoin stronger or not? I will tell you why I believe that it's making Bitcoin stronger, and probably the reason that he's saying it as well. The reason is because if you remember before Bitcoin ban, first of all, China has banned Bitcoin, I believe, like 13 times, right? So let's get that out of the way first. But this time we're talking more about the May ban of miners, which seems to be sticking, and the fact that they're enforcing the rules that they've been making over time. It seems to be much stricter this time that we have a real China ban. But if you remember, one of the biggest arguments against Bitcoin in the past was that it was too centralized in China, right? The fear that China could take over the miners, 51% attack the network, the fear that too much of the volume was in China, all of those things. Then mysteriously, China started to ban things, and that became a bearish case. But in reality, more decentralization is good for Bitcoin. It matches the core ethos of Bitcoin, the reason that everyone's here in the first place. And that's what Snowden is talking about here. The less control that China has, the more they miss the opportunity to have taken that control, which they could have. They could have attempted. They wouldn't have succeeded. They could have made it a lot more difficult and centralized Bitcoin much more. The fact that that has not happened, that they have gone the other way, is massively bullish for the Bitcoin network and for the future price. Now, let's take a look at what some of the analysts are saying over the weekend here. Bitcoin rejected at 49K after charting 4-week high. Bitcoin failed at 49K. That is true. We will take a look at that momentarily, but not really a big deal in my mind. We had that huge move up, which I'll show you now on the charts, and then you're going to expect consolidation after a large move up. That's what happens. Here, Friday's crypto market breakout caused massive short covering, maybe technically significant. FSInsight. Technical breakouts made by some cryptocurrencies led to massive short covering. We saw a lot of short liquidations, a bit of a short squeeze on that move on Friday. When they talk about short covering, what is a short, right? You're borrowing money to sell something, or you're borrowing shares, whatever it is. You're borrowing coins so that you can sell it on leverage. Well, when a short closes, when a short covers, it becomes a buy order. That's when you see these short squeezes, and you see them the other way too. Every time someone closes or covers their short or gets liquidated, it becomes a buy order, sending price up higher and pushing up through the book. That's largely what we saw. So probably that has now occurred. And so now we're waiting for a more organic move on the next leg. So one more thing here. Bitcoin launch sparks wave of crypto speculation in El Salvador. Salvadorans use government app to day trade. That's the Chivo app on their phones. Many large businesses and some smaller ones now accept Bitcoin. Over 2 million people are now using Bitcoin in El Salvador. There's just over 6 million people of the population. And because the app is really easy to use and you can go in and out from dollars to Bitcoin, of course, some people are going to use that as an opportunity to speculate and to trade, right? They gave everyone in the country $30 free worth of Bitcoin, put it into an app that the person could go in and out of fiat. So, of course, that's going to lead to a bit of speculation, but we are starting to see some actual adoption. Here you can see 2 million users. 2 million people in the country of 6.5 are users of Chivo. The $30 of free Bitcoin is equivalent to about 8% of the monthly minimum wage. 8% of your monthly minimum wage. It's basically like, partially your week's wage, part of your week's wage for free just for downloading this app. So yes, of course, people are going to speculate. I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing, but as of now, most of the kinks have been worked out. When people have phone service, the app seems to be working exceptionally well. No surprises, though, that you're going to find some gamblers gambling on Bitcoin now that they've been given to it free. Let's take a look at the charts now. This is the weekly chart, guys. I was telling you what we were looking at here on the weekly for a very long time, and it seems to have played out pretty nicely. 42K, 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 right? I'm going to say it again. I've said it over and over again. You guys are probably tired of hearing about it, but this is what it is. We had the move up to 42K right at the beginning of the year, consolidated for a month, Tesla breakout, Tesla breakdown, if you believe the Elon Musk news, spent 3 months under that line. 2 weeks ago was the first time we retested as support. You expect a key level like that to be retested as support. It is bullish to see it successfully retested as support. It just happens to be scary when it happens, right? That's why people get so bearish at support. Holy crap, I can't believe we're here. It's going to break. We're dead. Didn't happen. Didn't happen. It bounced 2 weeks ago, and this week, once again, tested below that level and a massive candle, which you could call this. Different people have different definitions of bullish engulfing candles, and it's obviously different when there's no gaps because one candle always seems to open where the other one closes, which makes it more difficult. Some people say you also need to engulf the wick. I disagree with that. Basically impossible for that to happen. But here you go. You have what I would consider a bullish engulfing candle on last week. That means that all of that downside action was covered in 1 week by a larger gray, in my case, green candle for most people, by a larger gray candle. That's extremely, extremely bullish. Of course, you want to see bullish follow through this week, but you could not have asked for a better candle than this, except for if it had closed up above 49 right here at the top of the candle. You do have this small upper wick, which indicates at some point sellers stepped in on that candle and pushed price down. But guys, I mean, the week opened here, pushed all the way down to just above 40 during the week, and then massively bullish throughout the rest of the week, closing the week strong. Macro bullish. There's no way for me to look at that chart and think, wow, this is bad. I can't. And I've showed you the monthly chart a million times with the ascending channel, right? Showed it a million times. So guys, this is your daily chart. I had drawn this wedge. I was showing to it over and over and over and over again, saying that this is a bullish pattern. Eventually, it will break up, or it should. I can't say it will. We had increasing volume, massive breakout. Here's that short squeeze probably. And now trading back above the 50 and 200 MAs, which not that significant for me, but a lot of people seem to care about. Golden cross obviously was not a thing, right? And so now you can see we're pushing into this predictable area of resistance, right? Where did this entire dump start? Here, right? So you expect that when you get back into that level, you're going to see resistance. And that's what we are seeing now. We can actually drill into the 4 hour and get a better look at exactly what that looks like, right? So we had this bear pennant. I told you it wasn't a bear pennant. It was a symmetrical triangle to retrace too far. Breakout, retest, massive move up. Now we have a bit of an ascending, broadening wedge. Really, really weak patterns statistically, and Bitcoin has a tendency to break them to the upside in bullish trends. But technically, you would expect that to break down, but only down to around 46.7. But here you can see, let's get rid of that pattern right now, just so you can get a clearer look at this. This is the top of that move from the dump, right? After the major dump in September, like on the 21st, this is as high as price rose, 48,834. Well, that's exactly where price has been rejected on this move. And as you can see, we have what's called a potential bearish SFP, right? I talk about these all the time. You can even, if we can drill in further, you can see how close this is. Right? You can see the candles both. This one closed slightly below. This one opened at that line and dumped exactly down from there. That's what's called a bearish SFP, swing failure pattern. See, this is the swing high of this entire move. When you see price attack that swing high again and get rejected, you see the wick above but closes below and then a move down. That usually means somebody engineered some liquidity here. Sort of the idea we were talking about before. Someone pushes price up into that area because they want to sell, but they don't have enough selling liquidity. Price goes up to that area. You trigger longs. Those are buy orders, which gives you liquidity to sell into those buy orders. And you probably trigger a lot of stop losses, which also gives you liquidity for those orders. For me to be really bullish on low time frames, I need to see a close up here, right? I want to see this and then a retest and then a move up. That's what I'm looking for right now. This does have the potential to do kind of a BART move, right? Come maybe back down to this area. This, this is not a bullish pattern. This is not necessarily bullish consolidation pattern. I'm not worried about it. This could go straight up. But the point being, you've seen this before where we get this sort of sideways action, then a little bit of a dump before a move up. And the other thing that's giving me confluence for that idea, you guys know I love divergences, right? Bullish divergence, bearish divergence, bullish divergence. Well, we have overbought bearish divergence as much as oversold bullish divergence is my favorite signal to go long. This would have been a short signal at the top here. If you're trading it low time frame and you're just looking to make money on the smaller moves, you can't pretend that one side is one thing and one side is the other. If you see bearish divergence that's overbought, you expect that eventually we're going to come back to oversold. Then you look for bullish divergence and potentially head up. And we almost here had hidden bullish divergence to cancel it, but it was not to be. This was slightly lower. Now, if you drill in really close, we actually have potential hidden bullish divergence as small as it is right here. Slightly lower low on RSI, slightly higher low on price. That would cancel that bear div technically, even though it's very small. And let's be honest, if RSI comes below this point, which is very close, price is very, very likely to make a higher low with RSI making a lower low. So any push down here is going to probably give us hidden bullish divergence, a sign the bear div is canceled, and we're going to continue up to the upside, right? As someone said here, drop to 45K will make a nice inverse head and shoulders. That could potentially be there. One day, Kristen is going to drink every time I say bullish divergence. You are going to be the drunkest person in the history of mankind that has ever walked the planet. And I am here for it. Bullish divergence, bullish divergence, bullish divergence, bullish divergence, Kristen. And Kristen, I saw you call everyone at the beginning. I saw it right up here. Good morning, Wolfpack. Maybe we got to give ourselves a name, the Wolfpack. What do you guys think? I've been hesitant to use the name the Wolfpack because my friend who was the Wolf of Polonius, he's now I'm Not Wolf on Twitter. He had the Wolfpack back in 2016, 17, and I would hate to copy that. All right, on to some altcoin news here. Polygon flips Ethereum on active user addresses. Polygon flips Ethereum on active user address. Pretty crazy. Increased network usage often translates into higher demand for native tokens. Here, Polygon's count of unique daily addresses active either as sender or receiver rose to a record high of 566,516 on Saturday, surpassing Ethereum for the first time on record. Ethereum's tally stood at 527,158. This is clear, major adoption of Polygon Matic. You know I've been a fan forever, guys. If you were in my newsletter, you were buying Matic under like 10 cents. 10 cents, right? Because I was so bullish on it and showed you the charts. Well, let's look at the charts now. Bitcoin pair, Matic Bitcoin. This is what we're talking about. Breakout, retest, should be heading up. Right? I think 0.00003491 or so. This area would be the first target, maybe up to this high right here. But I know most of you are trading on the USDT pair. Guys, another breakout, right? We had the macro breakout here. You can see I set an alarm right there. I hope you guys can see that alarm. I'm not sure if you can see it on there, but you should be able to. Yeah, see that little alarm? Broke. Nice move up. Now flipping, not only flipping this blue line, that has not been retested as support. That could come down and test it, but also this key horizontal level at $1.25, right? So what you're looking for from Matic right here, this is the retest you want, and then you should be heading up to the top of that pattern around $1.79, right? If it flips that, talk about $2.70. But clearly the fundamentals are here. The chart looks good. That generally is a pretty good signal that if you believe that the market is good and that Bitcoin is going to go up, this is as good a bet as any. And I posted this on Twitter the other day before the breakout, actually. Grayscale adds Solana to 494 million digital large cap fund. The asset manager's Bitcoin heavy fund allocated 3.24% to Solana on Friday. I believe they also added Uni, and they're just not, yes, finance token Uniswap to its large cap crypto fund for the first time on Friday. Guys, this is a ringing, rousing endorsement for Solana and Uni that they're being added to that large cap fund. Means they're in the highest market caps and being taken seriously by institutional investors and are being added to that fund. That is huge. I don't know if you guys saw this. I talked about it in the newsletter this morning. It was not here, but there was also a story that ETHE, which is Grayscale's Ethereum trust, much like their version of GBTC, which is Bitcoin, surpassed GBTC in trading volume this month. It's now more institutional interest via Grayscale in Ethereum than Bitcoin. We've seen the same thing on futures trading across the board. There's a lot more big money flowing into Ethereum than Bitcoin. It's actually starting to not even be close. So I think that's really, really important. Let's take a look at both Solana and Uni since we just talked about them. There's another one, another newsletter setup. I shared it on streams all last week. Break, retest, up. This should be heading to $260. Easy. If you're looking for an entry, maybe you'll get a drop back to this area as a retest of support that didn't happen, 152. So you'd be looking for that bounce off that area and heading up. Uni, guys, you can see I drew this on the 28th. I said we look for a break of the blue line and a retest. Okay, I missed. The retest is right there, right? But this is exactly it. We're getting a break of that blue line, retest as support, and this is what should happen, right? We should test $30 first. If that breaks, we head up to $44. Very obvious. Same pattern over and over again. I shared them. I've been sharing them all last week. We saw, because of the Bitcoin drop, we saw these drops in consolidation. Yeah, some of these are, some of these you get these parallel flags, not in this case. Some of them you get like, a broadening, just descending, broadening wedge like that. Some of them you get a flag, some you get a pennant. But what matters is the break of that top blue resistance. Moving on. Now, this story, guys, I want to know. I'm going to just dive in right here, but I want to know how many of you this applies to. Inside Crypto Castle, the world's first Bitcoin addiction clinic. Scotland's Castle Craig, pretty nice castle, to be honest, treats those with a craving for crypto, often exacerbated by an addiction to drugs. Castle Craig, they said it's seen a tenfold rise in inquiries for its rehabilitation therapies in the past year, but the true extent of the problem is unknown, and therapeutic approaches differ, as testimonies from therapists and recovering addicts make clear. Yeah, I mean, listen, we know that a lot of people who trade crypto are gamblers. We know that a lot of people in this world have gambling addictions, and we know that a lot of people in this world who have gambling addictions have drug addictions and alcohol addictions. The bottom line is, if you have an addictive personality, and you get really involved in something, you're probably going to become addicted to it. And people who don't have that addictive personality and probably wouldn't get addicted to drugs or get addicted to these other things probably don't get addicted to Bitcoin and trading. But it is interesting, and I think great that there are services out there that can help people. Listen, I know probably none of you have this problem, but if you do feel like you're addicted to trading, that's basically the same as a gambling addiction, in my opinion, because if you're addicted to it, you're probably trading like a gambler with high leverage, making bad decisions for the thrill instead of doing it wisely. And if you do have that problem, hit up Castle Craig. Castle Craig, by the way, is kind of a cool name. Castle Craig. That'd be a good DJ name. Yo, DJ Castle Craig in the house. You know what I'm saying? If my name was Craig, I would maybe name myself Castle Craig. But yeah, guys, this is a real thing. There's actually help out there if you need it. But yeah, a lot of it is gambling, trading. It's all mixed. Major problems with addiction. Worth reading this story on Decrypt if you guys have not. How about this? Almost 2 billion staked in Axie Infinity. AXS skyrockets 130% weekly to a new all-time high. I've been talking about Axie Infinity quite a bit. You can dig into the actual staking and tokenomics if you want. They're offering an APR of 187% on their site. That is quite a bit, and probably the reason that people are so encouraged to stake here. About 20% of the entire circulating supply is now staked. Obviously, very simple economics, right? Reduction of supply with increased or equal demand, number go up. We're seeing the supply reduced. We're seeing actual adoption of the game. Like I've said before, I mean, forget that. Forget even the price of the coin. They made like $2 billion in 2 months. Right? They did that much volume. Insane. More than all of Vegas casinos combined on its best month in history. But what I really want to talk about is that this is the future, right? We've had like last year, DeFi summer, NFT summer. Well, maybe now we're going to get the next, period is going to be gaming. We see all these projects, the Axie Infinity, Star Atlas, Alien World, Chain Guardian. I mean, there's a lot of things that are either gaming or metaverse related, I should say, not to conflate the two. But this might be the next big wave in crypto because play to earn is huge for people all over the world. Someone young can go play a game, make a ton of money doing it, literally make a living in the metaverse playing games. It's insane if you think about it, but really a viable possibility for a lot of people. And it's all based on blockchain and chains like Solana that are extremely fast with very low latency. Now, the test is going to be able to see if when these become mainstream, if these blockchains can actually scale. I mean, we saw obviously Solana was down for 20 hours about 2 weeks ago because they could not handle it at the time. They probably fixed that. But that's going to be the big challenge here is when mainstream adoption comes, can we actually scale to accommodate it? Let's take a look at that chart. Well, we had this pegged as well. I'm not saying I knew it was going to go this high, but yet again, we had the blue descending line break out, perfect retest, and move up, flipping every level, right? Also an inverse head and shoulders here, which broke out right around this area. I pegged this, we were talking about it maybe last week, midweek. And I said the $72 was the very key resistance, right? Because you had, look at all these candles that were touching it or rejected right around it. That broke, flipped, and now we're up at $144, doubled that. These are the kind of patterns that we're looking for. I would just be careful now. You're seeing majorly increasing price on slightly descending volume. So this could definitely top out. Look for some consolidation or retest before heading back up. Final story, Fed to launch CBDC review as early as this week. Report. Sauces. Officials at the Fed are set to release a paper soliciting public comment on a central bank digital currency. Guys, we know that central bank digital currencies are coming. Money is going digital. Money already is digital. Let's be real. How often do you use a credit card, PayPal, Venmo, any of these things? How often do you just throw some cash around? Very rarely in the United States, I would say. But we know that it's going to take a long time. The United States is going to be really far behind. But what's interesting here is that they're soliciting public comment on the matter. My public comment is screw your central bank digital currency. I'm sticking with Bitcoin. I'm sticking with Bitcoin. For some reason, I have the Luna chart pulled up here, but this was another example I gave last week in advance on Friday saying, look for the break of the descending line. Now you have that. And Luna heading into price discovery here. Anything above $45. Coming back to seeing new all-time highs, guys. So you're just looking for patterns like this. These are your entries, right? Breaking these descending resistance, flips of all-time highs. A lot of ways to approach these charts. Bottom line is the market continues to look bullish. I'm going to come over here and check out what you guys are talking about over here. Victoria just said sauce. Oh, speaking of sauce, I don't know if you guys saw, I put out some Sunday content yesterday. Did an interview with my buddy G-Love of G-Love and Special Sauce, hence the sauce. I've known him since the 1990s, crazy story, but I toured with him a number of times. We're very close friends. My wife works with him. And he's putting out an NFT collection this week, which is definitely worth checking out. But he's also was in crypto since 2017. We've ridden the wave to some degree together. So he was early in it, understands it, and is now really excited about NFTs. So that's definitely worth checking out. Also, a few of you who won the contest have not gotten back to me. I will be sending that money out today. So if you got an email, please respond to that email. Now, guys, I will be back today. Now, see, when I look over here, I'm looking at your comments. When I look over here, I'm looking at the charts. Is it weird? Is it weird? Did you guys like it that I'm not like staring right at you? I don't know. So yeah, guys, thank you very much. I will be back today at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Daily Time, as we do on Mondays. And we're going to take I'm going to go through a lot of charts in advance of that. And we're going to take a much deeper dive, and I'll find out some interesting things for us to discuss. Also, on the Monday afternoon streams, I have a bit more time. It's a lot easier for me to engage with your guys' comments and to take your questions. So we are going to do that. I will talk about ETH this afternoon for sure. So please show up for that, guys. Please show up for that. I'll probably take a look. Actually, I'll just commit to it right now. I will take a look at the top 10 or 15 coins by market cap to start, and then we'll dig deeper from there. So any large cap, I will look at in depth on the Bitcoin and Ethereum pairs this afternoon. Okay, guys, I hope that you have enjoyed this. I have enjoyed this. You have enjoyed this. We have enjoyed this. Now we're going to call it the Wolf Pack. It's known. I apologize to my friend. I'm not stealing a trademark. I'm stealing his trademark. I'll pay him copyright. We're the Wolf Pack. Welcome to the Wolf Pack, people. Until later this afternoon. Peace.
That's dope.